Imagine, if you will, a film set in a dystopian world darker than any you could possibly imagine. A film with a story so stark and devoid of color and emotion that it leaves the audience feeling devoid of color and emotion. Now imagine that I could show you such a film. Come with me now as we take a deep dive into the deepest, darkest depths of the greatest film that was never made. I'm Nick Bey, and this is a Retrospectrum. In 2014, the greatest film of our generation was conceived, but sadly, the director could not carry it to term. And by 2016, the film was shelved indefinitely. By 2017, it seemed as though the film had been destroyed in its entirety. But in the summer of 2018, a construction crew working in the basement of an abandoned Chuck E. Cheese came across a partial cut of the film. Now, here, in 2019, its cast and original director are here to discuss the controversial and thought-provoking film, Spectrum.
It was an exercise in madness and futility.
It's a lot I haven't talked about.
Quite frankly, it ruined my life.
A powerhouse ensemble, a director in his prime, mysterious and unexplained disappearances.
I knew that there was conflict.
We were on set, 2-3 hours a day.
He is in a boy band?
But no one could have truly anticipated the tensions that were brewing among the cast and crew.
People are beating around the bush. We all know the allegations were about me.
No one liked that casting.
They were false.
It was only a matter of time before time ran out for these intrepid rebel artists.
I've never seen a movie.
We can't wind back time. We can only go forward. To look back is folly.
I hope the truth comes out.
Well,
I hope that everyone can see that this film could have been everything.
I would like to first of all thank you for taking the time to come and speak to me. Sir, I am a huge fan, and it is delightful to be sitting across from you. A man who should need no introduction.
You came to me. You're in my house. I don't fly.
Obviously you need no introduction, but for some of the viewers who may not know you, Roman Chappelle.
I don't drive.
Yes. A man who should need no introduction, but for those who have not seen the film, Ashton Milnier.
I don't leave this area.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Constantine
Von Kessler.
von Kessler. Great visionary. Of
Thank
our
you.
time. Perhaps the greatest.
I'm familiar with you as well.
Well, thank you.
You're all right.
I would sort of like to get into your head a little bit and ask how the idea came about. How did you come up with the idea for Spectrum, and what did it mean to you as you were trying to create it?
It was an idea I'd had for a long time, a rebel artist fighting against the system. It could be any system, and it could be any artist. It's a painter in the film, but for me it was a filmmaker. But it could be a symbol for any artist, but it's not. It's me.
Perhaps the film is taken too literally. Spectrum doesn't exist. The artist rebellion is a fictitious event. I'm not sure that everyone knows that, so I just want to get that on the record here and now.
I took it to the studios, and they didn't want to make it.
Really?
And so I ended up acquiring the money from other places and organizations in the Las Vegas area.
And I wanted to ask you about some of the really artistic aspects of the film. The lighting and the background is very...
Yes, we shot it in black and white. It's because the color is devoid in the city, and we wanted to create that feeling in the film. And I asked my DP if that was possible. I'm not very technical. I don't go in for the little cameras with the gears and whatnot. And I just wanted to know if that was something that could happen. If we could exercise the color from the video. And he said all it really was a button that you press and it did it.
It was a bold choice to cast such a young, upstart, well, let's not beat around the bush, boy band member. So Roman was a first choice from the beginning, then?
Oh yes, he had a powerful essence and aura to him.
I was at a coffee shop, and Constantine was next to me. And he was on his phone talking about this massive idea.
So I was performing with my ensemble in Berlin, actually, where Conrad is from. He was at my show. I think perhaps the only adult man.
Here's a visionary that has a goal. And everyone's gonna hear it. Everyone in that shop, myself included, and what he needed that day was a lead actor. And so I immediately turned around. Didn't even know what it was about.
He approached me backstage. I don't really know how he got back there, but it's where I found him.
I believe he was in a band of some kind before filming. A group of virile young men, very masculine, very powerful, and I was attracted to him professionally.
He placed his hands on my shoulder. He brought me in close and he said, "Boy, I'm gonna make you a star." And I said, "I'm already a star." And he said, "Not like you're gonna be when I'm through with you."
And I didn't get a coffee that day. I got the lead role in Spectrum.
And I signed the contract then and there.
If I could, I would have cast myself as every character. I've been looking into cloning.
Really?
Yes, so I can be in many places at once. Actor, director, cameraman, the man with the pole with the fuzzy thing at the end, I can do that too.
I never acted literally at any point in my life, so I'm still quite confused.
How's that research been coming?
Slow.
There's a third actor there, who is credited only as Cosmo.
Ah, yes, Cosmo. He was quite good. Not the original actor. The first actor was, his name was, I believe, Gerald or something. Very friendly man, completely deaf.
We were supposed to have someone else there.
You saw him? You saw him too?
It was going to be a wonderful performance, but he disappeared.
You're telling me you know this man, and you call him Cosmo.
And this guy Cosmo walks in wearing his clothes.
I thought I was hallucinating him.
But Constantine, maybe he had too much to drink that day, I don't know.
I'd had a few already that day, a couple drinks, to lubricate myself for the coming work day. And I knew that I had taken it a little too far, and I only had a few hours before the shakes took me and the darkness closed in. So I knew that I only had a small amount of time to film that day. So instead of finding Gerald, I decided to just go with Cosmo. And it was a godsend. He was wonderful.
Yes. Sorry to disturb you, Lord Inquisitor. The unlicensed artist bail has been paid.
Every week after that scene, he would always go on this rant about Cosmo.
And then he left and I couldn't find him.
The magic of Cosmo. Where did Cosmo go? Help, I need Cosmo.
He said the lines exactly like I wanted. I didn't even have to use this. I use this with most my actors. I found it really helps keep them focused when they can't act right. I just make them.
I would like to talk about one scene in particular. It's actually one of your first scenes in the film. Can we roll the clip?
Why'd you do it, Dante? Why'd you start painting?
How do you know my name?
How indeed.
Listen, whatever it is you're gonna do to me, wipe my memory, banish me, kill me, whatever it is, just do it already. Because I couldn't give a damn about your mind games.
I don't think you actually realize how much trouble you're really in. Do you know why we're so goddamn serious about licensing men like you? Do you know what it was like during the rebellion? A lot of people died, Dante. A lot of people lost their lives to you damned artists.
The system had already collapsed. All we did was paint the way.
Powerful stuff.
It really is. I think that power really comes through in my close-ups. That scene has a lot of potential, just like the rest of the film. Sometimes it's squandered.
I don't believe that actors should be given direction.
That's why we eradicated color. You artists are dangerous enough without it. We did it for peace. We did it for Spectrum.
You did it for your own gain. And so that those in power could stay in power. And so that we would remain ignorant and docile. But one day, color will return to Spectrum.
They didn't say the lines how I wanted them to say the lines, and I would tell them exactly how to say them. I would say that I would read them and have the cadence and say, copy me.
You don't need to tell me what I have to say or how I have to say it.
And I brought a page from the script, and I want to share how I would have said these lines.
Oh, please do.
If Ashton had just done what I said. You did it for your own gain.
I wanted to take a moment to talk about the names of your characters in your film.
Names are very important to me.
There's a lot of Dantes throughout history. You could take any one of them and be like, that's the hero of that story.
Conrad, after witnessing my performance, was inspired, you know. He told me I was the greatest musical mind of my time. And so, to name my character Amadeus was an homage to my talent.
I don't remember what Amadeus means. I think I saw it in a film.
Dante's Inferno? It's all about Dante.
And I haven't read The Divine Comedy, but I did play the video game.
Dante from Devil May Cry.
Constantine, if I'm may be so bold, is not the name you were given by your parents. And so, as a man who is very deliberate in choosing names for characters in films, I wanted to ask about your own choice of name.
This wasn't part of, he was not.
Amadeus? That's a composer. What does that have to do with Dante? I thought that the film was about Dante. I thought it was about, like the trials of human existence. It's not about music. It's about paint.
All right, yes, I changed my name. And I knew I should not have told Roman about it. I knew that he would leak that, and what you say in the throes of passion, you should not be liable for. Yes, my true name is Conrad Stevens.
Some of the names meant a lot, and some of the names were just dog shit. What's the genre I want it to be? Every genre.
What would you label this film as if you had to put a genre to it?
I guess garbage, probably.
I would say a musical, but without the music.
I wanted to ask, and perhaps shed some light on the allegations that Konstantin von Kessler was engaged in salacious relations with a member of the cast and crew. Did you happen to catch any of that? Did you see that on set?
You can just say it. People think that we were lovers.
Everyone knew it. I knew it indirectly, because no one would talk to me.
Our relationship was strictly professional.
The first time that I saw Roman Chappelle walk out of a trailer was Constantine's trailer.
The budget was quite tight, so we did share a trailer.
And more importantly, if they could share a trailer, then why don't we have just one large communal trailer? Why am I not a part of it? But any time that I came up to a conversation, they just scattered like bees.
Well, I wanted to ask and maybe do a deeper dive into your feelings on Roman and him as a cast member and as a coworker. What did you? What was your experience on set with him?
Well, I won't beat around the bush because I'm sure that he's already spilled every bean.
I believe he was jealous. And so he turned on me, attempted to sabotage me. He would place spiders in my bed. They would crawl all over me.
So I think he had it out for me in the beginning. I think he was after my role, and I think that in some ways I think he got it.
Well, you see, I cast it wrong. I thought that that Ashton Millier would be right for Dante, but I realized the role of Dante itself was not correct. What I found through the process of exploring the film was that Amadeus was the true lead of the character. This was something Roman always told me in meetings.
I wanted Ashton gone,
There was exclusion happening.
so I cut it. I said, we're not doing it anymore.
And that's why we had to take the hiatus. I had to rewrite many scenes.
So one day I go into work to do a scene and no one's there. It's empty. And he's put the project on a hold.
But then Roman, well, he went down a spiral of liquor and drugs like the cocaine.
Conrad had opened me up and put a lot of drugs in me.
I was the one who introduced him to these vices, but I do think that he was mostly to blame.
Conrad had made some shady deals.
And then the money fell through, and then I needed to get more money.
These two men show up in the middle of the night, and they put a bag over my head, and they throw me in the back of a van.
That must have been difficult for you.
It was very cold back there, and I didn't have any drugs.
It's because of him that we didn't finish.
I pretended that I was having a seizure, some sort of convulsion or fit. It came very naturally at that point. And they opened up the back, and I was able to escape into the night.
Really?
I found out later that Conrad had sold me.
I gave it all to Spectrum. And I got nothing in return. Nothing but a lousy paintbrush.
You've seen too much, Dante. You and I both know that. Trust me. This is the easiest way.
Long live Spectrum.
In your opinion, as the driving force behind Spectrum, what should have been the Citizen Kane of our generation, but it just wasn't.
Well, how do you have a heroic journey if you don't have a hero anymore? If you just have a villain, I mean, you doom yourself.
Audiences weren't ready for it. And I realized that at the end.
When you cast a lead, you film all the scenes with the lead. You don't fall in love. You don't put a film on hold. Nobody does that.
I would like to say I blame myself. But that would be a lie. I blame everybody else.
They are more focused on their personal lives than the vision. And so the vision died, so they could live.
It was a beautiful idea, but also I don't know if the world is ready.
The Lumiere brothers filmed the train coming at the audience, and they screamed. And they screamed and they ran from the theater. It would be that. It would cause a revolution. My film of revolution would cause it. And I didn't want to plunge the world into such chaos.
We're asleep. You know, we're not ready to see color.
Ashton, I'd like to once again thank you for your time and for coming to the studio.
I have a few cards that I could give you too if you want to pass them out, because
I'm sure we'd love to take a few.
I think this chapter's over.
But it would have changed the world.
I hope those two dudes are dead.
We've come a long way together, as travelers upon the road of truth, but sadly, our time together has come to an end. But before we part, I'd like to show you one last thing. The original cast and its director reunited to make amends once and for all.
I say action is my job to do it. That's what I do. I know. There's not a lot that directors do. I know. But everybody else does things, but I just sit there in a chair and I say action.
Yeah, and such
Take that away from me.
I'm not going to. In fact, Constantine, I want to give you another opportunity to do that again. With a cast and a crew that is the equal of your talent.
There is no such thing as an equal of my talent.
Well, once there was. I have some people I'd like you to meet. Gentlemen, if you would, please.
Gentlemen.
Yeah.
Hey, hold on. No, I know those flip-flops. No.
I told you.
Wait, what the hell are you doing here? What are you both doing here?
I'm your lead actor. You owe me an apology.
You're the lead actor. Apology. Apology? You both should be apologizing to me. You ruined my film. What? Even now you're not listening to me.
Oh, that's not how I planned that going.
No, you stay out of this. You're the one who did this to us. Yeah.
This is all you.
Oh, this is disastrous.
You know what? Let's f***ing go.
I, much like you, the audience, am quite shocked.
Oh, you're so strong even after all these years.
It's the man.
Oh my goodness.
Get off me.
Oh dear.
Gentlemen.
You know what? I don't want to use this.
Oh, he's got a gun.
Whoa. Whoa. Hey. All right. No.
You want to fight? No. You get down.
I will be leaving you now. Once again, this has been Nick Bey. And this has been a Retrospectrum, a deep dive into the darkest depths of the greatest film that was never made. Presented by me.
And you. You're the one who did this. You're playing with fire.
Your humble host.
You know, you're not unguilty either. You're just as guilty. You both get out of my house.
Humbly presented. Nick.
Get out of my damn house and my life forever. I should have won that Oscar. Not Tom Hanks.
Well, did you squander your youth in a beautiful mess and let your